Welcome to the Sunshine Junkie podcast. Part genius, part ridiculous, but all Florida. Now your hosts, Chad Crawford and Katie Schroeder.
Testing 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2. Does yours swivel?
It does.
How long have we been talking about doing a podcast, Katie?
As long as I have been working here, which has been a very long time. 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why have we not done it?
We've been a bit busy,
Yeah, we have
I
been
would
busy.
say.
Busy, but now's the time. This is our time.
It's finally panned out to where now is the time.
And it seems like the thing to do. Everybody's doing a podcast, a vlog, a blog. It's like, what is this that we're doing?
It's a podcast.
It's a podcast,
with video and audio.
but it's video. There's video here. I can see a video camera. There's
Yeah.
multiple video cameras here.
We got to do video. I mean, that's what we specialize in.
Yeah. We were made for video.
Why not?
Yeah. So we're doing a video podcast and I'm excited.
Yeah.
Are
Me
you
too.
excited? You have no choice. You're under my employ, so this is just what we're doing.
I am told I will support.
But you're going to love it.
Sure.
I'm excited to do this with you. I think it'll be a good dynamic between the two of us. So what do you want to talk about?
Well, I think people need to know what Sunshine Junkie is. Like, what is this thing? It's been different things for you, I think.
It has. That name has been around here for a long time. I always just love that name, the idea of it. I always felt like I am a Sunshine Junkie, loving Florida so much, third generation Floridian, and just loving Florida in a weird way. I think that's the junkie part for me that just feels kind of a little off.
A little zany, a little like extra. We were a little worried about that word junkie, but it does mean that. It's like you gotta have it. You need it to survive. And that is you. You need it.
It is my drug of choice. So yeah, that's the junkie part. Sunshine, obviously just another word for Florida. I love sunshine. I love vitamin D. I'm a big fan. I'm not a fan of sunscreen. I don't wear sunscreen and I just soak up and I get as much as I can whenever I can.
That's where we differ. I do wear sunscreen.
You do wear sunscreen.
Otherwise, I'd just be one big freckle.
Being sunburned is not fun. I've been sunburned a few times.
Well, and when you're a host on television and you're just this big
Red lobster
blob, it doesn't look too cute.
Yeah, a little too much chroma. We're here in our Lake Mary headquarters here in downtown Lake Mary.
Our production office. This is where we run our business, your business, Crawford Entertainment.
Yep.
This is our hub of where we produce all of the television shows that you've been doing for much longer than what I've been doing. I've been with you for 8 years producing television shows.
Lots of television. And we've moved around different places in Lake Mary, but I've lived in Lake Mary my whole life. I love Lake Mary. It's Seminole County. It's centrally located. And, I live a mile from here, grew up 2 miles from here. So this is home. And we have a small office, small team, but we do a lot.
Yeah. And this has been the hub where we work from, but we keep everything. And it's such a good location for us to go travel and do what we do, which is produce television. How to Do Florida, Flip My Florida Yard, The Outsiders Club, Protect Our Paradise.
I have 4 kids. My oldest, Casey, then next my son, Chase, and then Cooper, my other son, and then Kendall is the daughter at the end. So 4 kids, age range from 13 to 21. No. So 4 kids. Oh my gosh, I suck at my kids' ages. Okay, let me try this again. I should have this written down. Gosh, this is like a very large family. It's hard to get out. Anyway, I have 4 kids and a beautiful wife, and I live in a house. I don't know. I have been married for 23 years to my lovely wife, Christy. There's a lot of us, a house with 5 bedrooms. All of them are filled. And every time I pull up into my parking lot, there's like 18 cars because I've got this flow of transient teenagers coming and going and ebbing and flowing and rolling in. And Mr. Crawford, what's up? You're out of milk and blah, blah. I'm just like, what in the heck is going on here? I love them. When I was growing up, my mom made it very clear of who her favorite child was. That's not a thing anymore. Like I tried to do that, and Chris like, no, none of these are favorite. All of them are awesome. They're all our favorites. I'm like, I don't know. There's one. There's like some of them are kind of just, But like, did your parents ever say like, were you a favorite?
No.
No.
Especially when I was older, I was the trouble.
You were a little hellion, weren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. You got some hellion in you. I can see it come out here and there.
Yeah. Ugh. No, my brother. I think my brother. Because he calls the most.
Well, that's often. A mother-son thing.
Firstborn.
See, I was firstborn. My mom called me the apple of her eye. As I went on to have children, I'm like, okay, which one is my favorite? And I'm looking at him, and then Chrissy's like, no. We don't say that out loud. You can think it, but you don't say it.
Well, now, like later on in life, now that we're all adults, I've got my act together, and I'm just waving my hand over here.
Exactly.
Like,
yeah.
Can I get moved up to the top?
I know. It's so different how we raise kids today than how we were raised. I know we're kind of getting off topic here. And just to back up a little bit for people listening or watching, my name is Chad Crawford. I own Crawford Entertainment, and we make Florida television, long form television. And I've been doing this for almost 16, 17 years. Have been in the film business since I graduated Full Sail in 95, 52 now. Went to the Navy out of high school, and kind of didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. And I had a really great teacher who I admired my senior year, who he was the video productions teacher. And it was a very new class. He barely knew how to use the equipment. He said, if you weren't such a goofball, those were his exact words. Yeah. On the last day of class, he came up to me and said, Chad, if you weren't such a goofball, you would be good at this. You have some talent. And up until that time, a teacher had never told me I had any kind of talent. So that stuck with me as a young man. And out of the Navy, I got the GI Bill, and I came home, and I'm like, what am I going to do? I got $23,000 to spend on college. Where am I going to spend it? And there was a new school here in Orlando called Full Sail that had just started a video and film program.
Wow.
And so I signed up for Full Sail and graduated a year later. That was 95, and have been doing it ever since. So that was kind of my journey into film and doing, really finding what I'm passionate about, and also what I could do that I could actually make a living.
Yeah.
Obviously, you're a producer here, and you have a lot of interest in video and film. So what was that for you?
Well, I am Katie Schroeder.
I
was raised in North Carolina. Loved it there, and just grew up normal kid playing sports.
Yeah.
And I ended up going to college at the University of Tennessee in Knoxville. Go Vols. Don't hate me. Still
yes.
SEC love. That's where I met my husband, Ricky. And then from there, I studied in journalism, but I just really knew that I wanted to work in television. In reality TV back then, 2008, 2009 was really big. I just knew I wanted to do that. So I was fortunate enough to be able to move up to New York City, where I really just kind of climbed the ladder, working in reality television up there.
Yeah.
It was so cool. I was able to work on Real Housewives of New York and New Jersey, Project Runway All-Stars, Long Island Medium, and a bunch of other just like reality television shows that no one's ever heard of. And then Ricky and I were just like, we wanted to start a family. We didn't want to do it in New York.
Yeah.
And his job was able to just allow us to move down to Orlando.
Mm-hmm.
And it was pretty scary for me. I did not think that I was going to be able to kind of transfer down here and work. Everyone was like, Disney, Universal. And I was like, I have no idea what the market is down here. But lo and behold, I found you. But
or I found you.
How we found each other.
Yeah.
That is still an insane story to me, in a mixture of just luck and timing. But Ricky and I have 2 beautiful sons, our lovely dog Lily, and we have created a beautiful little life down here.
Yeah.
And I am one of those people that moved down here to start their lovely life down in Florida.
In paradise.
In paradise.
Yeah.
And I would say, you know, the quality of life here is just amazing. I get it.
Yeah.
I get it. And it's just been amazing. And this job, obviously, because of the shows, I have learned so much about Florida. I have been forced into it. You made me camp in the Everglades one of the first seasons, or, you know, one of the first years that I was down here.
Yeah.
And you're just like, holy crap. I didn't know Florida was like this. I was one of those people that was like, I thought Florida was beaches and Disney. And boy, were my eyes open.
Well, you are an example of a successful transplant. And I love seeing people who, have come here and have made Florida better, right? Have brought talent and wisdom from other states and brought it here. You know, we have such a, an eclectic state. You know, they say statistically 70% of people who live here are not from here. You know, we are such a transient state. And because of that, we have just this crazy blend of all kinds of, fan loyalty and food and culture and different ways of doing things, which I think is really what makes Florida special. It is kind of a melting pot, but I love the story of how we met because, the fact you were talking about all the reality shows that you worked on. I remember reading your resume. I was like, this is what I'm looking for. Because if you can handle like those wives in those shows, you can handle me and you can handle the craziness. Filming in Florida is very difficult. It's all location. We don't film in studios. I haven't been in a studio in years, but we film in Florida. That is our studio. And it's massive and it's vast and it's wet and it's muddy and it's full of mosquitoes. And I was like, if she can handle the housewives of New York, she can handle this. And you've been an incredible producer. And, for those who don't know, a producer really kind of is the glue that brings everything together. It's not me. I may have the idea for the show and maybe be a presence in the show and bring those elements and a creative element. But it's really you, that a producer that brings the logistics and the content and everybody together to make it work. It's been cool to watch you not only grow in that role and also go on to directing things for us, but also raise your family here and have your kids and watch you guys engage and enjoy Florida, living the Florida dream.
Well, I thought that was going to be impossible to be able to, I thought I was going to have to make that choice, especially coming down here. Like, am I going to be able to have the family and the career? And I've been able to have both of that. Yeah. Which is insane because I know a lot of people up in New York, they've had to make that choice.
It's tough. Yeah.
So I feel insanely lucky. And gosh, has it been fun.
Well, good. I'm glad you haven't been hurt or scarred through this. But you see
maybe
this as
things
fun.
You don't know about, Chad. Maybe there's internal scars you don't know.
Yeah. Get the therapy bill here in the next couple years. But let's talk about Sunshine Junkie because like this podcast is really designed to be, and this is a new format for me. Like I'm used to television, which is a box, there's no box here. So this is going to be an interesting format for us to play in. It's new. I can see why this has become so popular.
So what we hope to do is bring guests onto the podcast who have been a part of an episode and to bring them on and kind of have a conversation with them, interview them, ask them questions, kind of reconnect and kind of flash back and maybe get some behind the scenes, an interior look of what happened on that episode and then kind of check in with them and see what they're doing today.
I mean, we think it's cool. I hope other people think it's cool.
You know.
Interesting. Like, I think what we have to say is kind of, is this mix of nostalgia, but also addressing some current events that's going on in Florida, things that are, I'm passionate about, we're passionate about, that we see and have been able to be exposed to. And that can be environmental. It can be, some of the bigger topics that's going on in our state, whether it's tourism, agriculture, in the format is this kind of, part genius, part ridiculous. The ridiculous part gives us a lot of flexibility to be just that ridiculous.
Yeah.
And because I think Florida is ridiculous. And I think that's one of the reasons that, How to Do Florida was so successful is it was ridiculous, and it kind of embodied and mirrored Florida. I think a lot of people could relate to that. And that show is very near and dear to my heart. That kind of launched everything, was How to Do Florida. I cut my teeth with that show, learned how to be a host, learned how to make television, learned how to get sponsors, the game, if you will, of how to make television. But from that came meeting so many great people and spin-off shows. And that's really what we want to kind of dive into is going back and looking at those great stories and great people that were on the show, or maybe we met along the way, that we think other people are going to find interesting as well.
You specifically, Chad, have had a lot of things that you've always wanted to say. And because of the shows that we have, you might not have always had a platform to say it.
Yeah.
And so now you do.
Yeah.
And you can do that now.
Well, yeah, I think that's an opportunity for, me to talk about some things that I'm seeing going on in our state that I have an opinion on, or I might want to know what other people think about. We're going to have a good time on here, and we're going to, try to entertain people and try to produce it in a way that feels like, when someone finishes one of these episodes, they feel a little bit better, a little more informed. Maybe you laughed, maybe you cried. We probably have some tears coming up here. And, I
already want to apologize to people for my tears. Good God. Sorry. I mean, you've built a small fan base being Chad Crawford from being a TV host.
Yeah.
And just, from knowing you for the 8 years of being your producer and being out in the world with you, like, people love that part of you, and seeing people getting to connect with you out in the world, that's 5% of you. And so now there's this whole side of you where you just kind of get to be yourself. And this is a great platform for that. And I think people will get to enjoy that.
Yeah.
To get to actually hear your voice and, full thoughts from you.
Yeah. Like I'm struggling with what to say right now. It's like, it's just this conversation that we just kind of go back and forth. It's like, all right, well, what do I say now?
But what is good is that, format-wise, you do always bring a little bit of ridiculousness at the beginning of each episode. So that's good.
Yes. Yeah. And I have a long list of ridiculous. I remember sending that to you and you were like, what is this?
Well, first of all,
crazy.
You talk to text everything. And for some reason, your phone does not understand you at all.
No, it doesn't.
So you two need to get in sync. Whatever your Siri or your Alexa or whoever you're talking to now, who's your Chat GPT? Maybe you need to start listening to your Chat GPT.
I don't know, but just these phones today are not. They're we were promised smartphones and they're just not smart at all. I
think your phone might be the only dumb phone on the planet.
I don't know. Maybe I got some gum shoved down there in the microphone or something. It's not getting through, but
anywho, I think I speak Chad enough now, or chat enough now, so I can kind of decipher it a little bit.
Yeah. How are people going to watch this? Like, what's the format? Like, how do they download it? Do they?
Okay. Do you want to do that?
Do they export it? How do they do it? Do I need to tell people right now where to go and get this? Like, I write down the www and like hold it up like a URL.
Are you just trying to make bloopers? Yeah,
maybe. Yeah. I mean, seriously, how will people find this?
Okay, so everyone's going to be able to watch this either on Discover Florida channel. We're going to post it there, or on YouTube. Then they're going to be able to listen to this podcast wherever you can listen to podcasts.
Also, they're not all going to just watch it. Some will just listen.
Correct.
Okay.
So they're going to be able to listen to it on Spotify, Apple Music.
Great.
Amazon, wherever you can listen.
Will it be on the iPod? Will it be in your earbuds?
It'll digitize and sync up to your earbuds.
Oh, we're going to be digital. Nice.
Did you ask consent from your family if you can talk about them?
What do you mean? Consent for what?
I don't know. I just feel like if we're going to be talking about our family, they need to know.
Like permission?
Yeah.
I have not. Should I?
I'll text Christy.
Sunshine Junkie is a production of Crawford Entertainment.